Is there a pilot on board? If so, please contact the nearest flight attendant. Thank you.
With no doubt, this would be the worst PA to be ever heard on board the plane. Today, we will have a look at how possible it is for a passenger to take control of the aircraft, and if it ever happened. Today, I wanted to approach a very popular topic all across the world to finally give my statement about it and compare few people with different qualifications on if they're going to be able to land an airliner. So for many people this can get a bit disappointing. However, I don't think personally that a flight simulator player could handle an airliner. When you're flying here in your comfy setup with your joystick, throttle, and or whatever you play with, comes something different than an actual cockpit feel. If you've ever been to a cockpit, you'll see that you actually need to have a muscle memory of pressing buttons, of looking around, or the most important sensation, which is movement. When you are moving the aircraft, your inputs will actually move you. If you are sitting in front of your desk or a computer with your yoke and you move it to the right, you will not feel anything except your hand just moving something to the right. That's the biggest problem which could appear with the flight simulator players. Also, flight simulators give you some possibilities which you will not have in real life, such as being able to zoom in, to use an outside view, or use a VFR map, which in this case could be difficult. Also, some aircrafts come with different equipment than they do in Flight Simulator. For example, one of the best in this case is the 737 NG series. This aircraft is highly customizable, so in Flight Simulator it could look different than in the real world. Those changes could be small, however they would have enough impact so you would probably not be able to fly this plane in real life. I think you are not the person which has the least possibility of landing or succeeding. However, I don't think a flight simulator player with only flight simulator experience would be able to land. So, what about flight attendants or cabin personnel, however you'd like to call it? Well, the biggest problem is that most of them don't have a clue how to fly a plane, or even how to steer a plane, or how the cockpit works. Flight attendants usually are there for your own safety. For example, in case of an emergency landing, flight attendants will be able to make a full evacuation and make sure that you will leave the aircraft safely. The biggest problem is that they don't know how to fly the plane. Most of them. That's what I said just a minute ago. Flight attendants usually are not on a path to become a pilot, however some of them would like to. There's a very famous example of an air crash which happened 20 maybe years ago, something like that. The Helios flight where the 737 had a decompression. After the fighters reached the plane, they realized that there is a person in cockpit, which later appeared that was a flight attendant who's been studying to fly the plane. This is an extreme example, and we are going to talk about PPL pilots later on. But this person probably has the least possibilities, or the same possibilities as the average passenger on board. They would not have any clue how to land an airliner if they don't have any previous training on flying the aircraft. To become a flight attendant, you don't need to be a pilot or have any pilot license. So, the worst possibilities, and I don't think you would be able to land an airliner safely. And here comes the best candidate for our substitute of a pilot on an actual airliner. PPL pilots are already pilots. They don't really fly the airliners, but they would have knowledge on how the plane works and how to do basic maneuvers. Even better if you are the ATPL pilot, has the complete pilot license with the IFR rating and flying on the jets. For example, with some better jets such as Series Vision Jet SF50, I think that the pilot generally would have a possibility of landing an A320, as those aircrafts have lots of things in common, for example side stick or huge automation. This is the best guess. Taking the PPL pilot would probably save the entire aircraft and the crew. So here is the best candidate, as I said.